Live from Pix 11 with today's top 11 stories. It's the Pix 11 Midday News with John Muller.
All right, folks, let's try it again. Good afternoon. Welcome to Midday with me, John Muller. Here, top 11 stories on Pix 11. Hurricane Dorian still on a collision course with Florida. Right now, the storm is moving slowly and gaining strength. Pix 11's James Ford is catching the first flight to Florida tomorrow to cover this storm, and he's in the newsroom right now with the very latest. James.
Well, John, look, what happens when you heat up a pot of water? It boils, right? Well, that shows you what happens when heat is applied to water. There's more energy, more force. The waters of the Atlantic, where Hurricane Dorian is right now, are around 80 degrees. And the storm is moving, shifting toward Florida at only about 10 miles an hour. Dorian is moving slowly over that warm water, adding force. Winds are now 110 miles an hour at XFI.
It's just stressful. I've been through this a couple times in the last 15 years, and this is the worst so far.
It's expected to be a Category 4 hurricane when it hits. The 150-plus mile-an-hour forecasted winds sparked a mobilization of the National Guard.
This is potentially a multi-day event where it will churn slowly across the state. That obviously creates a whole host of issues.
Warm water intensifies the winds, and they will be really strong and potentially catastrophic. Scientists widely agree that the hurricane will hit Florida. Exactly where is still not clear, but 7.5 million people have been put on notice that they could lose power, probably for days. My Pix 11 colleague Kirsten Cole and I will be reporting live from Florida starting this weekend here on Pix 11's Facebook page and on the Pix 11 News on television and on Pix11.com and our Twitter and Instagram pages. We'll keep you up to date on a variety of formats right up to the minute, as always. John?
All right, James, thank you very much. Well, there are two overnight shootings in Queens, and they have left the suspect dead. Police say the man opened fire on them in Jamaica. It came just moments after a different shooting at a nearby bodega. Pix 11's Anthony DiLorenzo has more.
And two NYPD officers dodged death early this morning after a suspect began shooting at them. They took cover right behind that black undercover vehicle in the middle of the intersection here. This all started over an ongoing drug dealing beef. A man was first shot overnight outside a nearby bodega. The suspect, a known gang member, was shot and killed by those responding police here as a result. Cops recovered the suspect's 9mm handgun in the middle of Brinkerhoff Ave near 156th Street just before 2:30 this morning. A wild shootout unfolded in the middle of this residential neighborhood. Cops say the man in his 20s is a known gang member and was spotted by plainclothes cops walking near this intersection. As they rolled up, he allegedly pulled out the gun and fired at two of the cops, who then returned fire, killing him with a shot to the head. About 30 minutes earlier, the suspect fled the scene of a shooting outside a bodega at Sutphin Boulevard at 107th Avenue. Police say he shot a 26-year-old known drug dealer multiple times in the chest, leaving him critically wounded. Surveillance video from a deli gave officers a detailed description of the suspect. He was ultimately located during a neighborhood search, sparking this deadly shootout. The two police officers were not injured in this shooting. However, they were taken to a local hospital just for observation. Police tell us they were wearing their body cameras, which recorded the entire deadly confrontation. Reporting from Jamaica, Queens, I'm Anthony DiLorenzo, Pix 11 News.
Anthony, thank you. All right, authorities have executed a warrant in Jackson Heights, Queens for a suspected ISIS sympathizer. Sources telling Pix 11 the 19-year-old suspect texted that he wanted to carry out an ISIS-style knife attack. The suspect's in court. We will have more information as it becomes available. All right, we do have some breaking news as well. According to the New York Times, a trial date has been set for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 4 of his cohorts. They are charged with plotting the 9/11 attacks that killed 2,976 people. The death penalty trial begins in Guantanamo, Cuba. This is going to happen on January of 2021. Streets have reopened in Chelsea after a rice or pressure cooker caused a scare overnight. Citizen app video showing the scene at 23rd and 6th was deemed a short time later to be safe. Now, police say it appears someone actually threw it out with the trash. Just 2 weeks ago, you might remember, a suspect was arrested after police say he intentionally placed rice cookers at Fulton Street subway station in the corner of 16th and 7th Avenue. In that case, 26-year-old Larry Griffin of West Virginia was arrested. He's being held on $200,000 bond. Well, a man in Tennessee suing Popeyes over its now sold-out chicken sandwiches. Listen to this one. The man's accusing the company of false advertising and deceptive business. He says he spent countless time driving from one location to the other. He was left hungry. He claims he was scammed out of $25 when a man posing as a Popeyes employee offered him a sandwich. On top of that, he says he blew out a tire and damaged a rim that he was driving on. The suit is seeking damages for his car as well as emotional distress. All right, if you're planning to go out of town today, you're going to be in good company. The Port Authority says 2 million people will fly in and out of LaGuardia, Kennedy, and Newark this weekend. Another 4 million will use the tunnels to drive out of town. The roads are expected to be more crowded than last Labor Day, with average gas prices the lowest they've been in years. All right, Monday is the annual Juve Festival and West Indian Day Parade in Brooklyn. Celebrations begin at 6 a.m. They run through 11 a.m. The West Indian Day Parade runs along Eastern Parkway from Ralph Avenue to Grand Army Plaza. You can expect tight security, multiple street closures. For a complete list, make sure you go to pix11.com. Number 9, a 16-year-old climate change activist who took a 2-week boat ride to the United States is protesting in front of the UN today. Greta Thunberg is determined to stop the climate crisis. Her trip from Europe was powered by a sailboat to make the point that people should fly less and use less fossil fuel. While in the U.S., she also plans to promote school strikes by climate-aware students. Let's take a look at the forecast. High pressure is going to dominate this weekend. We can expect sunshine this afternoon with a few clouds mixing in at times. Temps in the mid-80s. Saturday is going to be sunny, less humid, cooler air from Canada arriving. Sunday is going to start out sunny. It'll be a little bit cloudy later on, even some scattered showers possible towards the evening. Finally, from the Pix 11 archives, a day most of us will never forget. 22 years ago tomorrow, Princess Diana lost her life. Jack Cafferty, Kaidi Tung, and Kathy Hobbs report on the aftermath in 1997.
11 alive. It was a death that shocked the world. Now a stunning development in the investigation. Good evening. Did alcohol play a role in the death of Princess Diana?
French prosecutors are saying tonight the driver of that armored Mercedes was drunk when he sped away with the princess and her companion, Dode El Fayad. Officials also say the car's speedometer was stuck at a speed of 121 miles an hour. Today, a German publication became the first newspaper to publish photographs of the crash scene before the victims had been removed. Diana's funeral will be held Saturday at London's Westminster Abbey. The White House announced today President Clinton will not be attending.
Here in New York, the mourning over the death of Princess Diana, of course, continues. And nowhere was that more evident than at the British Consulate on 3rd Avenue here in Manhattan. That's where Kathy Hobbs is staying by live now with more on New York's reaction to this sudden loss. Kathy?
Heidi, there were so many people here today that the British Consulate stayed open for an extra 2 hours in order to allow a chance for the many visitors to go inside and sign the official book of condolence. It was indeed an emotional day here at the British Consulate today, one full of tears and memories. From personal cards to the care which mourners laid each and every flower, the pain of Princess Diana's death was evident on the faces of those who continue to mourn her tonight.
I really don't know why I'm here, but there was something magical about her.
Many who made the pilgrimage to the British Consulate on the East Side say they were compelled here by the memory of a princess who was a symbol of compassion. At a flower stand across the street from the consulate, business has nearly doubled. All day, dozens of mourners like Heather Greenway carefully chose each bouquet. Many picked roses. Prince Charles reportedly once referred to Princess Diana as his English rose.
Well, I just think the rose is a princess of a flower for a princess of a woman.
A princess who Joe Asker, visiting New York from London, felt also deserved white carnations.
The colour seems to make me think of her, you know, I just think of her as being like a saint, pure, good.
Many stood in line with their flowers for nearly an hour to sign an official book of condolence. Inside the British Consulate, an overflow of flowers as emotions flowed too. The outpouring of sympathy here in New York and around the nation. In Washington, a spokesman for the British Embassy gave this public thanks.
22 years ago. Seems like yesterday. For more on all these stories, tune into the Pix 11 News at 5 and 6. I'm John Muller. Thanks for watching.
This has been the Pix 11 Midday News with John Muller.